Uh, Good morning, Dennis. Welcome. Good morning, Dennis. I hope you're well. I will be commenting in a minute or so as I wait for some other registrants to enter the webinar itself. As you know, today
Okay.
we're going to be covering Zoho Forms. Zoho Forms is an application that was developed by Zoho for you to be able to easily create forms and gather customer information and data and do all sorts of integrations with other applications like websites and tools within the Zoho's ecosystem. Uh, Hello, good morning once again. Good morning once again. Thank you all for coming to this webinar for Zoho Forms. We're just commencing now, and for those of you who may not know, Zoho Forms is an application which allows you to gather customer data from various sources. It can be integrated with your website. It can be shared directly, and it can also Zoho Forms can also be integrated with other Zoho tools, allow the people to sign signatures directly within the form, and create forms using AI. So with a simple prompt, you'll be able to create a form. So let me share my screen here at this point so that you're able to get a view into the Zoho Forms software and really see if it would work well for you and your business. I hope everybody is able to see my screen. I can get a thumbs up or a yes in the chat, or even you could unmute and just say, I can see the screen. That would be helpful going forward. All right, thank you for that thumbs up. We'll proceed. All right, so this is a Zoho Forms dashboard. Within the Zoho Forms dashboard, it's where you're going to be able to access and create all of your forms. So within this dashboard, it's meant to be a very simple space that makes it easy for you to create forms. Like on the top right-hand corner, you simply click New Form and you'll be able to proceed to create a form with a simple drag and drop interface. You're also able to access reports concerning your forms and export the information that was gathered prior forms that you may have shared or embedded on your site. So immediately when I click a new form here, I'll be given a few options. So I can easily create a form from scratch. However, there are also many templates I can take advantage of to give me a starting point where I can start with a form that is already pre-designed rather than a blank form. Also, for those of you who are interested in the CRM, that is Zoho CRM or Zoho Begin or Begin by Zoho CRM, you would be able to also integrate Zoho Forms with the CRM so that you're able to gather that information within the CRM and a new customer's profile will be created within your CRM. So depending on where you would like to save them, either in the contacts or leads module, and depending on your purposes, you're able to store all of that data within your CRM, which is your source of truth for all of your customers' data. Now, immediately when I go to form templates, you will see that there are pre-designed forms. And all these forms already have some imagery or some color attached to them. But if I were to go ahead and select to create a blank form, for example, that would take me to this point. I'll just name my form. For now, I'll create one from scratch. Create standard form. Yeah, so from this standard form interface, like you can see that on the left-hand side, there are many tiles that I can click on. All of these boxes can be dragged and dropped into the builder. So simply, if I want to collect somebody's name information, I would just drag and drop name, and already it will appear here. When I click to preview this form, immediately it looks like this. It can show you how the form will look like on different devices, maybe a tablet or a mobile phone. So you're already able to design your forms with multiple contexts in mind. From here, I can even apply different form designs here quickly by clicking, just to see how the form would look like if I were to use these templates in the side. However, these templates can also be edited further to be more specified to your needs. Perhaps you would like your brand colors to always appear in your forms. That can be arranged in the later customization that we're going to look at. So typically, maybe I would have like a contact us form. This could be integrated with maybe the contact us page either on your website, or perhaps you would want to also gather information maybe at an open day at your business, or maybe if you want to have the form to be able to get people to sign up from directly sent in the something that was sent directly to their inbox. It can also be shared that way as or through a QR code on a flyer. So for example, some of you who are at our event might have received a form directly from a QR code. That can also be used so that you're able to keep that customer information and be able to reach out to you all at a later date. So typically we would want to have your phone number as well. We'd want to have your email address, and we'd want to have maybe depending on your business case, you might want a different type of information. Like for example, in our case, we would like to know maybe the size of your business, for example, or maybe if you have a business like where like you're dealing in agriculture or farming, maybe if you're a consultant, maybe you'd want to know like how large is your farm, for example, how long are people farming. So you want to gain that type of information from people so that you're able to serve them better later on. So from here, I've gathered the bare bones of what information I can gain from somebody. And now if I want to perhaps change the way the form appears, I would go to themes. And I could say create from scratch, or I could select a theme and start from there. So for example, I could apply this and then customize the theme. From customizing the theme, I can even change this background here, can remove it, for example. So that background image is now gone. From the header, I can adjust how the header will appear. Maybe I want it to not be, to be like more of a banner kind of header, fixed or scrollable. Like, so now when I apply this, and I can also edit the color scheme of this form as well, so that maybe I would want it maybe to match more of our own brand colors. The button can be edited here as well, can change. I can make it blue as well here. So maybe I want to have the entire form be blue. You can go ahead and change the fonts. So all of that can be edited within the form builder. Depending on if you have multiple pages, you can also add that information. So you can create longer forms with multiple pages. Also look at that. So after applying this, the actual form is updated in real time. Immediately when I access the form, now it appears like this. When I return to the builder, I can as well add more information. I can give them the option to even upload a file. Maybe in case I require some form of ID, I could have that, like, to upload the ID. I can have them give us a rating, for example, so they're able to rate us out of 5 stars. For example, if you wanted to track and see how well are we serving people, you can see how well they rate your service, how well they rate your products. So you can actually gather that information and continue to receive feedback from your different customers. You can even receive a signature from these forms. So I can add this signature information. And in any case where maybe you would require this proof that this was the person who viewed it, you can add your signature there within the form as well. It can be also integrated with Zoho Sign, which is a tool which is specifically for sharing documents to be signed, for you to receive e-signatures as well. So now when I go to settings, immediately I can make certain integrations. For example, I can add WhatsApp, email, so I can make it so that whenever somebody fills out the form, that they'll receive a follow-up email telling them that we're going to get back to them. So immediately with this email notifications, it would need to be configured with a domain, like your domain email. But if you set up by default, it comes with notifications at Zoho Forms. But if you want a specific email, you'd have to be configured from scratch. But for now, I'll just say that this form will receive a reply from notifications, and then another copy will be sent to maybe daniel@abc.co.ug. So I would say thank you for contacting us. So I would say, dear, maybe I would add first name, for example. Now, so when I say dear and I add this tag here, it will automatically read what their first name was. So for anybody on the call to maybe say, dear Dennis, dear Doreen, and so it's automated. So whoever fills out the form, it already automatically will know their name and paste that information. And paste that information there after dear. Maybe then from there, we would say, thank you for contacting us. We will get back to you within 24 hours. And then maybe I'll put regards, business name, for example. Well, this is also enough for a quick notification, letting them know that they get back to you. You can add more information, contact information, numbers. So this email can be well thought out and designed. So you can also use an editor where you can also choose email templates. For example, I can have like this, thank you for signing up here. And I can use that template, adjust the imagery, and from there, like they would receive a more well-designed email, which looks more like what you'd receive from a large company, professional brand. So here perhaps you'd add your own banner or logo. Perhaps even here you can add your own image. So let me move this. And let me add something else. So here, let me upload and choose an image. So for example, now, so just give it a second to load here. Sima, if you could kindly mute. So now we've customized this email to have our own banner so that like it's more recognizable. Yeah, so we've customized this so now it's more recognizable with our own branding, and you can also further customize the colors, the background colors of this as well, so that it's maybe more to your taste, more to your liking. Maybe you want this to be blue. Maybe you want this bottom section to be more of navy color, for example. Whatever suits your branding, or whatever suits your specific taste for how the email should look, it can be designed and edited in that way. These elements can also be dragged and more. These elements can be removed. For example, maybe I don't have Play Store, I don't want this to appear here, so I can just delete it as well. Then instead of saying, "Hi, John," maybe I would add that hi first name tag instead. So it says, "Hi, whoever is receiving the email," for example. "Hi, Doreen. Hi, Dennis," for example. "Hi, Lillian." So it would say that instead. Let me see. So here you can also add, just to appear in the email, like the information which had come out of the form, like their name or email, things like that, within the email itself. So that would be also tagged there. I can add things like elements like buttons. So maybe rather than having like a link, so sometimes maybe in your email you would have like a link like this pasted here, but rather have a button, and instead that link will be attached to the button instead, so that when I configure the button, that instead it will say something like maybe you have like a promotion running or something like that, or you could say buy now. You could have a link to your product page, for example, and I paste the link there. So immediately somebody clicks this, it will go to that page, for example. So there are all sorts of elements that can be added, including new text boxes, horizontal lines, so I can add tables and other divisions. I could even have like where I can add more content here. I could add maybe 2 images here like this, or I could add 2 text boxes here so that it's more of a different layout. So I can also play around with how I lay out these emails. So really, really there's a lot you can do here to customize the emails. But now we'll move on to another section of Zoho Form. So let me I'll say done here. I'll just cancel this for now, though. So that's how that would work. If you wanted to receive notifications, for example, a sign up form, either through your email. So within our Zoho Forms, you can also set up rules. For example, maybe I want only certain parts of the form to appear only after somebody has entered a certain piece of information, so that everybody receives a different experience. maybe if I add like a field which says, like maybe if this is actually a farm, I would say, let me just do this here. Maybe if I said maybe farm name, then if I have a drop down, I could have options of how large is your farm, all that type of information. So maybe I could say acres, 10 acres, 5 acres, and I can add another field as well. So now immediately it's updated. So now if I want, I have that drop down option there. So if I select other, then I can type how many rows are. So now if I configure rules, I could say configure now. Then I could say if it contains, or if it is empty, or if it has like for example, contains any of, for example, I could put a value here or something like that. So if it contains that information, then it will show the next part, or it will hide something. So I would say set value to hide, for example, farm name or something like this. So depending on the information I put here, so it will move. So if say name is not empty, then show farm name. Since I changed the rule so that if the name is empty, it wanted so like the farm name, for example, immediately I start typing my name, like it starts showing that field, for example. So in some cases you have, now just to demonstrate how that functions, but in some cases where you have a form, for example, when you have information about somebody, you may want to show them, for example, only information in case maybe if they select, maybe if they're male or female in the form, maybe you want to show them information like maybe if they're male, they get this information. If they're female, they get this information. Maybe if you're like, if you're a bakery or something like this, they would only receive location information only if, like, for example, they enter a certain amount that they want to order. Then the next part will show them like enter your location information. So that type of functionality can be played around with by any of you. So in case you want to to more precisely collect information from people in a way in which that it is more customized to the actual person that you're dealing with. So on a case-by-case basis, not everybody filling out the form needs to have the same experience, depending on what you're trying to have. So that's how that would play out functionally. So that's how that would work. So you can also access that. Though, of course, for the sake of time, I won't be making a very complex rule configuration during this call. So now for integrations, here immediately is where you go to connect with either your CRM. You can connect to other tools like Zoho Campaign. So for example, I can push the email information of the people who fill out this form so that they enter a mailing list, and then from there I can send a broadcast. So in case maybe there are thousands of people entering this form, all of that information can even be still saved, no matter how many they are, inside campaigns, inside the list, where I can continue to share them information and newsletters and things like that. So I can also carry that out there. But if I want to connect with my CRM, so if I want to connect to Begin, for example, I will just integrate, and immediately I would have to just map and enter the information associated with the form so that the information gets pushed to Begin. So for example, I'll just enter each field, set it as mandatory, client name, email. So every field in the form, I will just add it, or everything I want to appear in the CRM. So I can even decide to leave out certain fields that I don't want to appear in my CRM. So if I open Begin CRM, I can, as soon as I update the form information, I've made an entry into the form, that information will be then pushed to Begin. Though here, I'll just select a form which is already configured with that. Just to give an example. So this one is already connected to Begin. So immediately when you connect it, to let you know it's connected. And then after that, you will be able to gather that information. So maybe I'll enter Dennis Ayabari. And then for the email, I'll just really make this up. Phone number, I'll also really add a dummy information here. So that just for example, and company, let me see. So maybe I'll put agro traders. Sorry if that's not the name, Dennis, but I'm just using this as an example. Then I'll be like, this is the CEO. So Dennis will be the CEO. Yeah, so that's where then I submit. So when I submit that information and I go to clients, yeah, immediately see here, you see Dennis's information has now been updated in the CRM. So then my sales staff will be able to, or myself, I can just keep that record within the CRM, continue to update the customer's information from within the CRM as well. If I want to add more info about them from within the CRM as well, based on the interactions we might have had since the time they filled out the form. Maybe we had set up a meeting after that. We'd send them an email here from the CRM itself. Yeah, so I can edit what, add them to like a pipeline, for example. So now that can be done using Zoho Forms, and now that information is pushed. And it's similar for other Zoho tools, since so within the Zoho ecosystem, most of these tools speak with each other. You can just push information like that. Yeah, so that's a brief demonstration of how that would work. So let me return to Forms, and then you can see sort of how it looks like when there are entries within Zoho Forms. So within Zoho Forms, like immediately a new entry comes, this form will have like this, will have like the number of new entries here. It's a summary, like, and you can even decide to sort your forms based on who submitted last or when they were created. But immediately when I click all entries, I can see just everybody who has entered this form, for example. And I can also track whether or not it was sent to Begin, was a new record added in Begin, it lets you know. So immediately, let me go back there again. So immediately when I see this information here, it can also be exported as a CSV or a PDF, for example, in case you want to, in case you want to send this information anywhere else. Maybe you want to share the file, or you want to upload it into another Zoho tool, maybe that information, maybe in case you were gathering information before it was connected to the CRM, you can also directly take that sheet and upload that data. You must upload that data into the CRM. And that will then here you can view information about like the form itself, like where people are actually, I suppose, entering your form. Of course, some of you maybe might have an international client, so you can actually view where people are coming from, that type of data and insights within Zoho Forms, the amount of submissions, those type of things. Maybe if it's let me just make it more like yearly. So this year, like maybe I got 4 submissions. I can see when they were submitting, for example. So I can have that information set. Viewed from here. So I can also set the availability of my form. Do I want my form to expire after a certain period of time? Is there a certain window for this form? If maybe this form is for promotion and I don't want it to last too long. So I can also set those dates up within Zoho Forms. Do I want there to be a thank you page that they go to like a redirect, for example? Or in case I have, in case like, I want to maybe connect it directly to my website. When I want to share my forms, or Forms immediately also gives you like a certain snippet of code that you can then share with your site's developer so that they can embed the form on your website. Also track just allows real-time tracking, so I can track and see maybe what people are coming from, how many people clicked, that type of information. share the QR code as well, so all of this makes it very easy for you to share your form. Maybe in case I'm sharing it via message or something like this, I would want maybe them to have like a shortened link, so I can also have this shared with anyone. For example, anyone filling out, who I want to fill out the form, for example. So that, in a nutshell, that is Zoho Forms. There's much more information that can be gotten into, although like the time which was set out for this webinar itself has been spent. If there's requests, we can also have a follow-up session for forms or any other webinar we've had in the past. In case some of you might have missed maybe the Zoho books, we'll be continuing to have those in the future. And of course, they're on our YouTube channel as well, some of those webinars. This one will also be uploaded to YouTube just so that you can have a rerun of the session. And of course, Zoho, you'll be able to try out any of those tools. In case you haven't already, you can also start a free trial for Zoho Forms itself and play around with the system, see how it works for you. And as well, of course, we're going to be going into the setup for the like 1-year licenses. If you already have like your 1-year license set up, for example, you'll still be able to access Zoho Forms as well using it, for example. So at this juncture, I'd like to ask if anybody has any question concerning Zoho Forms, maybe if there's a function you want to know about, though perhaps you can ask at this point, in case you have any question concerning forms. So, yes, Doreen Namara can speak.
Okay, so just a clarification. I don't know if I missed this. Can this be linked to WhatsApp so that I can send these forms to or get information about my customers that are already in WhatsApp and collect them onto these forms, or send information from these forms to the customers in WhatsApp?
So I'm trying to understand the function. You're meaning sharing the form on WhatsApp, or information from the form is like sending like them a message, for example? Because for example, like with the notifications, if you set it up with email or WhatsApp, the notification means that it's kind of just sends them a preset, like a kind of preset standard message ready, written out and connected to that. So that can be done. If that's what you're meaning.
No, actually, let me rephrase my question. So currently now I'm using WhatsApp as my CRM. It's where all my, where my clients are, their contacts, and it's how I contact them. So I'm wondering how I can marry this to the forms and, you know, the information I have my clients on WhatsApp. Is it possible?
For example, if you were sharing, like I suppose this form on WhatsApp to maybe your base of clients, then yeah, you'd be able to, I suppose, store their customer information. But I suppose that WhatsApp notification section I was showing you, really what it does is for example, like to share them like a message like thank you for like reaching Haven Bakery, for example. Thank you for reaching Haven Bakery. You can craft a message like that so that they receive a message after they've completed the form immediately, and then from there, like maybe you can then continue the conversation, for example. Though for anything with the WhatsApp business API, for example, when you connect a Zoho tool to WhatsApp, when you connect Zoho Begin to WhatsApp, when you connect Zoho CRM to WhatsApp, when you connect these tools to WhatsApp, immediately you would need, I would recommend you would use a dedicated business line, for example, because the one you currently use for WhatsApp business, it will only allow you to have, like, let's say, one viewpoint into WhatsApp. So for example, if I connect, for example, like if I connect Begin or Forms WhatsApp now, like I would only be able to view WhatsApp through the app itself, for example, right? That's what would happen in that case. And I'd have to respond to messages and be able to send broadcasts through the tool itself, for example. So in our case, yes, so first we have a dedicated line connected to our CRM in which we're able to receive messages. And when we receive those messages, for example, the person gets added to our CRM database, for example. So that's how that typically would work when you're connecting through Meta, for example, through WhatsApp. And that's according to the way that Meta has really made it. So that's how that would work. I hope that's really answering your question, Doreen.
Yeah, yes, it has.
All right, thank you. So I think that's because I had mentioned this earlier and I hadn't really looked at it. So really, yes, you can also create a form using the AI feature here. So I could just generate a form and just say, please create maybe a newsletter subscription form for my bigger meeting. Then proceed. It goes through the process and it would create a form which you can then edit later. So immediately it picks out information associated with what you typed here, and then yeah, so create the form. So yeah, so there's a quick AI form, so you can do that within Zoho Forms if you would like.